What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. J. Cole just released his 5th studio album titled K.O.D. It has 3 different meanings to it: kids on drugs, king overdose, and kill our demons. Once you listen to the album, you can really get a feel for why K.O.D stands for those 3 things. The album itself is really packed with content. It has a lot of deep music on it. And another thing to note before we get into talking about my favorites and everything else is that J. Cole is a master at promotion. I think that is largely due in part to the fact that J. Cole does not waste words. He's not somebody who pops up on Instagram to show you what he's doing day to day. He's not someone that's on Twitter talking about everything. He's not commenting on a bunch of stuff. No, he is very calculated with when he speaks. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. He's not in the public's eye all the time. He's not in the tabloids. He's someone who's a superstar, but he's low-key. I think a lot of rappers would love to live that lifestyle that he has. So basically, when J. Cole speaks, everybody listens. That's why his tweet announcing the album has over 100,000 retweets. Because when J. Cole says something, people have to listen. That itself translates into the music. And that's why K.O.D is already breaking records. The most streams for an album on Spotify in the first day, that's already been broken by J. Cole. When I listen to K.O.D, I get the sense that this is not J. Cole trying to make an album to essentially like make fun of people that make music about drugs, or, sort of like preach to the people that do drugs. I think this is J. Cole trying to play like the middle ground. Yeah, he talks about how you shouldn't do drugs and, other different addictions, other demons, I should say. But ultimately, this album feels like Cole is trying to understand from the perspective of other people as well. With that said, let's dive into my favorite song, starting off with Once an Addict Interlude. This is perhaps the most personal song on K.O.D. This is a story about J. Cole reflecting on his mother's alcoholism and how back in those days he just wanted to get away from it. As a teenager growing into a young man and getting the chance to go to college, he just wanted to get away from it all. And I like that he's able to reflect on all of that in a way that he looks back and thinks, damn, I should have done more. The last lines of his verse are, little did I know how deep her sadness would go. Looking back, I wish I would have did more instead of running. That's a deep way to end the verse. It's only one verse. It's an interlude, so it's not a full-length song, and I feel like it doesn't have to be. This verse is longer than a 16, but it is so impactful. It was enough to have me running it back, listening over and over again. My other favorite song is one that should come as no surprise. This is 1985, in parentheses, Intro to The Fall Off. We still don't know what The Fall Off is. We can make an educated guess. We could say that J. Cole probably released a project titled The Fall Off, but we just don't know. It could be something completely different. J. Cole is very creative, and who knows what this will lead to. When people first heard 1985 at his listening sessions, they were like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one that's going to hurt different rappers' feelings, and we're already seeing that. Lil Pump responded, Smoke Perp responded, and both of them had some very immature responses. And it sucks because I'm listening to this song and I don't look at it like it's a diss record. I wouldn't label this a Lil Pump diss track. I would say this is more on the side of trying to educate these rappers. And it's not just limited to Pump or Perp. It's anybody that's around them, that's in that similar field. Because J. Cole is someone who understands longevity. He understands being an artist. And I feel like as much as he was kind of a little bit, just a little bit getting at them, he was also trying to educate them so they don't end up in 5 years on Love and Hip Hop. But I understand, I guess, from their perspective, being young kids, they think, oh, everybody's after us and all that, and who cares? I'm not going to find a lesson. So I feel like this record, in some ways, kind of fell on deaf ears. I believe that J. Cole fans are going to love this record, and they're already loving the record. But I feel like people in the newer generation that are big fans of Lil Pump, they're not going to be able to objectively see that J. Cole is not necessarily trying to bash them, trying to kick them out of hip hop. He's trying to help them in a sense and educate them just a little bit. 1985 is only, 3-4 minutes long, so there's only so much you can do in that amount of time. I just don't like the fact that Lil Pump was the one throwing shots first. Then he tried to equate it to, everybody knows that I'm trolling. That's a stupid response. But then his response to the actual song was that, like, oh, cool, like you dissed the 17-year-old. And I'm just like, you were the one that was mentioning it first and foremost. J. Cole was over here minding his business. And now you're trying to use your age to hide behind that? Like, okay, J. Cole's 33, yes, we know, but this is hip-hop. No matter what your age is. If you're in this game, you're in this game. And honestly, I just feel like it is a cop-out. My honorable mention is Window Pane. This is the outro for the album before we get into 1985. And I just felt like it embodies a lot of what makes J. Cole great. The rapping is excellent, the beat is stellar, and the messages, they run rampant throughout that whole verse, that whole song. Finding my least favorite record was kind of difficult, but not really. I believe that K.O.D, the title track, is my least favorite on this entire album. I look at it like, this is not necessarily a bad record. I wouldn't call it that. I just think, in a sense, it sort of lacks identity. With all the other records, even though J. Cole's trying something new, experimenting with flows and everything, it still sounds like there's a bit of J. Cole's identity in every one of those records. But with K.O.D, it's like, I feel like you could give this to another rapper. Like, what makes this a record that only J. Cole could make? Not only that, it has shades of Kendrick Lamar's DNA. Like, the record. And I don't know, it's not as impressive as DNA, in the fact that, it's kind of similar, means that we as humans are naturally going to compare the two, and I'll say it's just not as impressive and it lacks that identity. So it's my least favorite. Now, is this a bad record? I wouldn't say it's a bad record. It's just my least favorite. K.O.D is an interesting album. I feel like you can listen to this album over and over and over and over again and still not fully understand or grasp the entire concept. Like, there's a lot of stuff lurking throughout the album, stuff that's not being said, that's sort of inferred, how everything ties together. I listened to the album over the course of from midnight when it came out all the way up until I started talking about this album in this review. I've listened, I don't know, in upwards of 10, 12, 13, 14 times throughout the last 48 hours or so. And I still feel like there's a lot to learn about this album. And that right there is amazing to me. I love when I'm able to enjoy an album music-wise and feel compelled to continue to listen to uncover everything that was going on through J. Cole's mind. I will say that the second half of the album is the stronger half. The first half is necessary. In some ways, I think J. Cole made some of this music so he can attract some of that audience. Like the people that like that trap sound, those type of flows. I think if they hear this, they're going to be like, oh wait, J. Cole's rapping like this now? Maybe I got to listen to this. And then that second half is when he really morphs into J. Cole, like the artist that we know and love, and really shakes things up. He's able to pull these people in, hopefully, and then educate them. K.O.D just has plenty of layers to the music. This is easily the most intrigued I've been about a J. Cole album in his entire career. I don't know if I would call this the best J. Cole album. I think it's too early to make a decision. But like I said, I'm the most intrigued in his entire career. There's a lot of this album that I'm really enjoying. And I look forward to continuing to unravel everything that's going on in these songs. So those are my thoughts on J. Cole's latest album, K.O.D. Kids on Drugs, King Overdose, Kill Our Demons. After you listen to this album, I want to know what you think about it in the comment section below. Do you like this album? Do you not like this album? I want to hear. Talk to me. Explain your decision. And then like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain. Check out some of my other videos. Tons of other reviews, discussions, interviews, etc. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.